If we live, we here, y'all. Welcome back to my channel, WatchYoMouthReviews. This is your boy James, where today I'm here to give y'all my honest review while trying to watch my mouth. Thanks to Bravo and that call center, it is not going to happen today. Joining me as always is my co-host, Mrs. Best. Say what's up to her, y'all.
Good afternoon, good evening. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, not to take over James's channel, but recently YouTube did announce they're going to be making changes that are going to make it more difficult for smaller creators like James, Keywan, and myself to get monetized if you're not, or to stay monetized if you are. So please consider subscribing to his channel if you watch his videos, because it will help him be where he needs to be before February. That's all.
I appreciate you so much, friend. And yes, you guys, please subscribe to my channel. As we said, like I really would love to be here with y'all full time. But if they make it any harder than it already is to monetize, I will have to, be from afar. So we don't want that to happen. Y'all want me here, right? So y'all gonna do the damn thing, which is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and give me a comment, please, and thank you. That's all. Please and thank you. Replay game. Please and thank you. Subscribe. I know a lot of people say, I don't know how to subscribe to you because a lot of y'all don't have YouTube accounts but watch YouTube for free. Maybe it might be best to sign up for a YouTube account. You don't never have to utilize it, but just subscribe. It's actually will be easier access to get to me. So I'm just saying. Just saying. So with that, now that we got pleasantries out the way and, gotta hold some of y'all feet to the fire, let's go ahead and talk about Next Gen NYC and how boring this episode really was. So I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm not talking about everything because this was ridiculous. They have spent the whole time talking about who kissed who tried to kiss who trying to fuck who trying to step on somebody else's toes. What beef do you have, and all of this in rigmarole? It is very manufactured, it is very obvious, and I am annoyed because this is so next gen. They got the title right, next gen. Because a lot of the stuff they're beefing, arguing, kissing, telling, that shit is stupid. Not for no grown ass people. Hi, Lexi Lean. Thank you for being here. This is stupid to even talk about. So I'm just gonna keep it real with y'all. My attitude level is very high because I don't like this. So with everything is being said, they are at their very first BravoCon. This is the first time this show is being acknowledged in BravoCon. Not all of the cast members were invited because they had not been released to public that Rowan and Liam were joining the show. So they are not here. Hudson could take or leave the show. He did not go to Las Vegas either. So it was the rest of them. And they're going on to all of these event parties. They are pretty much going to all of the pre-events before BravoCon into everything. And one thing about Shy, he says that he doesn't know what this means. He really doesn't, but he's a part of the show and he has to show up. He's very nervous, but he said he's going to try and make do with whatever it is. Best way to be Shy. So in all of the different panels that they had, they were broken up in pieces. Y'all know BravoCon's weird. They break them up in pieces. Then some of them have their own personal events that they book and everything. So a lot of that's just, touch base and go with other Bravo celebrities and do interviews and stuff to promote the show. We got all that, right? Okay. So on the cherry on top of this crew is that they are all nominated for an award, and that is Bravo's Rookie Award. Now, before they are addressed to win the award, they have to give a speech, and they're trying to appoint one person to speak on behalf of all of them. Everyone's like, I'm not good at public speaking. You had Ava, who said she wasn't good at public speaking. You had Georgia that said she was not good at public speaking. Charlie said he doesn't want to speak because they'll cut his mic off after 30 seconds because he don't know how to say things appropriate. So they all landed on Gia as to be the person to give the speech when they win the award. And I say win because they did win the award. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you the very first question of the night. Do you think Gia was the correct person out of the entire cast to give the acceptance speech?
Was she the best person?
Yes.
Yeah, I do actually. Just because I think the reason people are watching Next Gen is because of Gia and Riley. Let's just call a spade a spade. Nobody cares about Brooks. We like Meredith sometimes, but Meredith hasn't been around long enough for us to care about Brooks. And we grew up with Gia. We grew up with Riley. We we don't care about any of the other housewives kids really outside of them who are on this show. As for the rest of the cast, they may be relevant in NYC and have, done good season 1, but they didn't really, like, we don't know them. We don't really care to hear them speak and things like that. So I do feel like Gia or Riley should have been the one to give the speech, but to me, Ariana could have, because she was the breakout star, but I'm also okay. If it's as long as it was Gia, Riley, or Ariana, I was fine with it. I'll say that.
Okay. Yeah, I honestly thought it should have been Riley personally. I felt like, to me, out of all of the ones, her and Ariana probably had the most notable notoriety because of their mothers. So I thought that they would have been the best ones to do it outside of Gia. Because I wasn't necessarily mad that Gia gave the speech, but I don't think she would have been my first choice, if that makes sense. I think that for me, I would have said Riley and then Gia and then maybe Ariana if I were to give it to anybody. But they win the award, great speech, and everything goes, on pleasantries. Now, and the sentiment of their first night of after accepting award, they're all on a high. And Charlie books them this event in a candy shop or something like that that has like a bar. Sort of like if you have a soda jerk in your area, you know that there is kind of like a back entrance behind a secret door. So everyone's pretty shocked that, and surprised that Charlie is actually, getting them some bookings, because y'all know Charlie over here, you know, on the wayside using, being on someone else's tab. So they're like, okay. But the drinks were flowing. They had a great night. It was partying all over there. We saw Brooks drop it low. I said, oh. So when the camera goes down, Brooks a whole nother person. I saw that, Brooks. I did. Hmm. And I'm not surprised by that. I'm not. It's usually men like Brooks that end up, turning up the most and use that slow, oh my God, like my eyes hurt, and all that. It's usually them to be the most big freaks and be the ones that be turning up. So I wasn't too surprised about that. Mrs. Best, were you surprised to see Brooks over there dropping low on that stripper pole?
No. I mean, I feel like Brooks gives more personality off camera. We just got to catch like a good little glimpse.
I agree. Absolutely agree with that. Agree. Let me know how y'all feel about that. Oh, we got more people in the chat. Okay, let's see. Hey America, hey B, thank you for being here, my exclusive, unexclusive moderator. Yes, we appreciate you. We appreciate you. So hit that. Yes, yeah, y'all gotta tell them, subscribe to the channel. Y'all don't want me to go nowhere, right? Y'all better get subscribing. So moving on from there, it is the next day. And in the next day, we had a lot of different scenarios happen. And so he was focused mainly on Charlie's room. He had Shy in the room with him. So apparently there was a lot of things that happened. So the first thing that happened is everyone partied in Charlie's room. And Charlie started to have a little eye for Ariana. He at this moment don't know what it is, because there was an interview that Ariana did with some of the ladies on the panel, and she said that she wouldn't touch Charlie with a 10-foot pole. And he felt a way about that. He did. He was like, well, what was that about? Like, I mean, not that I had my eye on her or anything, but why would you say something like that? And it's because Charlie, first of all, you 10 years older than this lady. She do not want you. She ain't thinking about you, at least at this part where we don't see the end part. I'll change my mind once we get there. But for right now, she ain't seen it for you. And you just gotta take that rejection. Sorry, homeboy. Ain't you trying to be friends with her ex? Didn't he have very clear rules? He don't want y'all fraternizing, talking, holding the door, taking the seat, pulling out her chair. He don't want y'all doing none of that. Well, Ariana. So what is you getting mad for? You trying to, make sure Hudson is the backup plan to you and Omar's plan, right? Ain't that what you trying to do? All right, then shut it on down. So Shy said that, on his night, he was looking at Ava. He said it was about Ava that night. I was looking at her and she's just so beautiful. And, I asked her to come to my room. And when I asked her to come to my room, we had some drinks, we were laughing, talking. She's so beautiful. And then, I asked her, can I kiss you? And she said, no, absolutely not. And, Shy felt away because he said, oh, man, but she's so beautiful. That's all he could say. She's so beautiful. So he's telling Charlie that, there was moderate flirting going on. And Charlie, that's all Charlie needs to know, because basically moderate flirting mean that basically you about to fuck, according to Charlie. So that's pretty much how Charlie took it. Even though ain't nothing happened, I don't think that Shy is Ava's type, even in the slightest bit. So he got shut down in friend zone. Sorry, Shy. Nothing personal. Personally, I think you do better with men anyway. That's my personal opinion. But we gonna, leave that to the other people to decide. So, Mrs. Best, I have to ask you, you know, because of Charlie's, wanting to be in Hudson's good gracious as the backup plan to open up more, whatever he's trying to open up business wise, why do you think that he's now trying to push up on Ariana and slight Hudson? Like, what do you think that's about?
Shy, right?
No, I'm talking about Charlie first. We're gonna get to Shy in a minute.
Oh, Charlie is not a friend to anybody. Charlie be concerned about Charlie. Okay? That's who Charlie cares about. Him and Hudson don't even have a friendship, if we're being entirely honest. They just started kicking it like that for real. Last season, they didn't even like each other like that because Hudson felt like he was disrespectful to his chick. Are there no other women in New York outside of Ariana that are available?
Apparently not.
Lord. But yeah, I don't expect loyalty from Charlie. He's one of those people who just goes along to get along, in my opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree with that. Absolutely, absolutely. Now we're gonna go to Mr. Shy. Now, Mr. Shy is sitting up there talking about there was some moderate flirting with Ava. And, when he asked her to kiss, she denied him. Now, do you think Shy is just going to make his rounds way with all the girls, with the exception of Amira, of course, and Rowan, of course? Do you think he's just gonna make his round all the way with all the girls up on this show? Because he don't know who he like. He first it was Ariana, now it's Ava. What do you think is going on with Shy? Did I lose Mrs. Best? Uh-oh. I ask you in the audience, what y'all think is going on with Shy and how he done moved from thinking Ariana was cute to now going on to Miss Ava. What y'all think about that?
My bad. I just got off work, so I was doing stuff. You said, what about Ava?
No, Shy moving on to Ava. Like, why do you think he keeps moving around the friend group trying to get somebody to stick?
I don't think he's very experienced with dating, and I think he's just trying to find ways to, one, be relevant on the show, and I think he's just trying to give it a go to see if someone would be willing to date him. But he definitely gives no experience if you think you could just move on to a girl in such a forward way who just had a fresh breakup. Like, you gotta, Shy is cute, but he reminds me of a kid. He reminds me of a kid, especially how all the updates we see of him on FaceTime with his parents. I don't think he has very much experience.
I agree. I don't think he has very much experience either. And the problem that I have with Shy is that it doesn't come off like you have any game or anything. Like, ain't no woman gonna see this and go, "Oh, I'm gonna get with Shy because he got a game unless your name is Sweet Tea." But I, who's he trying to say? But like, it was weird to watch him say, "Well, I tried to kiss her." If you was smooth about a shot, listen to Uncle James real quick. If you was really smooth with it, you wouldn't have had to ask her to kiss you. You would have just put the moves on her. She would just have to reject you and go, back, back. When she could get it back, that's when you back up. But if you was really smooth about it, you wouldn't have asked her to kiss you. You would have just, if the moment was really there, you would have just went for it. Because that's what ladies like. Ladies like men with swag, where you just your center of gravity is right in your lower regions where they could feel it. He's too goofy and goober. So you got to do something about that, Shy. If you really is trying to give it one of these, you know, upper, you know, nose in the air ass women that you have on the show. I'm just saying. But that was, pretty much that part of it. Today at BravoCon is their actual panel where they're going to be interviewed, not necessarily by Andy, but by two other hosts that they get for the show. Sometimes on BravoCon, Andy will sometimes host a couch, and then sometimes they'll have other hosts host the couch as well. So they had two guys hosted. It was really weird, but they were asking a lot of different questions. I think some of the funnier questions they asked was, um, who do you think the fame got to their heads the most? Everybody unanimously said Georgia. And I don't necessarily know if I agree with Georgia. Mrs. Best, do you agree that Georgia got a little bit of the fame bug a little bit? Or do you think that title could have went to someone else?
I feel like Georgia's still the same that she was last season as well. I don't see it. Maybe the group sees it, but I definitely, from what we've watched on the show, she's still pretty much the same. Dingy, ditzy, dirty. What
Yeah.
I mean, maybe
Yeah.
the way she is with them off camera has impacted some things.
Yeah. I agree. 100%. So in the other realm of the conversation that is happening right now, they asked the question to Shy. They said that who do you think in the group needs to be more honest? And Shy pointed out Brooks. And when I tell you Brooks with that microphone looked him up and down and said, "Oh, how dare you?" That Meredith came out of him. When I tell you Meredith be doing that same look, Meredith be doing that same look. She be tilting her head. All you see is that big ass wrinkle, and she just pissed. He does that exact same face. That is crazy. I tell you, he look exactly like his mama, exactly like Meredith. But he was pissed. Brooks was fuming. Now, here's the thing with Shy's question, and how he answered it. I actually agree with Shy. I did. And I'm not trying to be, because y'all know how I feel about Brooks. I'm not trying to be mean, but I did agree with his answer. I feel like Brooks definitely needs to be more transparent and straightforward, especially if we give an example, his relationship with Charlie. He's not being transparent and informal. He was trying to avoid Charlie and kind of jumping on the bandwagon of the I hate
He literally
Charlie.
ran away. And then even if you go to Salt Lake City's first 2 seasons, that situation with Jen Shaw and her kitty cat being seen by Brooks, he wasn't even trying to be direct in how he explained that to his mom. But I think Brooks is just, I think he's boring. I think he does engage in messiness, but I think he does it in like a quieter way, if that makes sense, and then acts appalled when anything happens. But Shy's answer, nothing was wrong with that. And I think it's messed up that Shy is going to later get flack for this when he's new to television, new to fame, and he gave a very good answer. And Brooks kind of is going to make it into more than it needs to be, which is crazy. But
I 100% agree with that. I feel like to me, Brooks was way too hypersensitive about this. And I just don't think that that was that necessary, because you should already know how this goes, because you, unlike Shy, have experience of what this is like. This is not your very first BravoCon. Technically, you was accompanying your mama to a few of them. So I just don't understand how you wouldn't know that that would be a question, especially having your mother on a Bravo show. You should know that these questions are coming at their end to be shady. So for you to look at him like that, and if I was Shy, I would have said, "What you looking at? Why are you looking at me like that?" It would have been a whole moment right there. Because first of all, who are you looking at like that? And two, yes, I said what I said. Shout out to Nene Leaks. Who are you looking at like that? So yeah, I don't know. Shy just, to me, he got the right one with Shy, because Shy's not confrontational, which he need to start being confrontational, because I feel like they are kind of picking at him a little bit, but he also brings it on himself. So I can't really feel bad for him. So there's that. So after all of the festivities and everything, we have a dinner scene. And this is their last night in Vegas. And in this dinner scene, we have, a lot of things going on. So first we noticed that all of the cameras are panning on to Ariana and Charlie, and they are doing little flirty whatnot conversations. He's like, "You want to go to the bathroom real quick, and everything," and she's like telling him to go fuck off, but she's smiling, and in her confessional, she's saying, "Yes, he's saying out of pocket ass shit to me, but I'm actually enjoying myself and enjoying the fun of, kind of egging him on." I said, Ariana, to some extent, I get what she's trying to do, but it's not a good look. It's not, especially when this man in the first season disrespected your relationship, trying to say he wanted to fuck you. And then the thing about it is, when you end the relationship, he's having a relationship with your boyfriend, being a part of the clique that is watching you, making sure that whatever you do gets back to Hudson. But you're going to go ahead and entertain out of pocket ass comments? Young shit. Y'all, that's young shit. It really is. Because as soon as I saw him sit next to me, I would have moved across the table. Somebody had to switch with me. That would have been me personally. But everybody is clocking it. Everyone is weird. Riley said, "Look at the little duo over there. That's a duo we didn't think we needed." And I said, "That's a duo we didn't think would happen." But that's neither here nor there. So the conversation then gets a little strange. And what I mean by a little strange is they're starting to talk about, the panel questions and what happened up there. And this conversation then goes to Brooks, and he asked Shy, "Why would hold on, let me do my Brooks voice. Why would you answer that question like that?" And Shy couldn't hear him because he said the table was really big and it was loud. And he goes, "Well, what are you talking about?" He goes, "That was very shady of you to answer the question like that, like to say that I need to tell the truth more." And Shy said, "Well, I don't think that was the question. The question is saying like who needs to be more confrontational." And I said you because, Riley is, confrontational, and I thought that you two would be, she needs to teach you more. Like, you're not confrontational. And as I said, I don't disagree with Shy's answer, whether if it's confrontational or if it's Brooks need to tell the truth. I don't disagree with that. The problem with Brooks is he wants to take a slight at Shy because you did him wrong. Like, after thinking about it, y'all, Brooks definitely did Shy wrong with probably saying, "Yes, I'll, model for your clothing line, or I'll wear something and share it on the gram," and backed out at the last minute, or never even, responded with him to tell him no. I do think that is wrong. Absolutely up Brooks. But Brooks is trying to look at any moment to make Shy wrong in the situation. And I'm sorry, Brooks, we don't see it that way. Nobody in America sees it your way. I think you just got in your feelings and you got mad because the man called you out, which he should have because you were fucking wrong. So, Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Brooks confronting Shy about his answer to to the host's question?
Brooks just be looking for a reason to be mad on the show at this point. I don't even like Brooks is nobody is invested in Brooks. I don't know who's asking for Brooks. I don't feel like Brooks carries the plot. They just are keeping him because of his mom and the fact that she's on one of the more popular franchises of Housewives right now, because he has no reason to be upset. Everybody sitting at the table was like, "I don't think you meant it bad. I don't see what's wrong with that answer." But he wants to make it a thing. He's trying to make that happen because he has nothing else to show us. Like, nothing else. Absolutely nothing else. And the stuff that he does have going for himself, his mommy and daddy are paying for it. Brooks can go. Leave Shy alone. Shy is messy, which is keeping the show going. But in addition to being messy, Shy works hard, doesn't have things just handed to him from mommy and daddy. And he gives us more personality than Brooks. So I want Brooks to go. I feel like there's some people that make Next Gen like unwatchable. I do feel like Brooks is one of those people. This cast would be great without him, without Rowan, and don't attack me, y'all, and without Amira. I think if those three were gone, the Next Gen cast would be okay, but
Yeah, I agree with that. Absolutely. Let's read the comments really quick before I move on to the next scene. This was a good episode. It was all right. Love you, American Born, but this is all right. Ariana ate her words with that one with Charlie. Yeah, we're gonna talk about that in just a second. Shy is so delusional and is working on my nerves lately. I just don't. I just really think that like. I think he's calculated in a way, but it also comes off like he really is not that smart. Because ain't no way I would have moved on from Ariana to Ava thinking that something's gonna happen and I ain't got no game. Ava is used to men with money and men that can actually provide her opportunity versus getting somebody who's chasing the same opportunity she is. That doesn't make sense. Yeah, you got to have something. AB, what is going on with Ariana? She needs to stick with Liam. I like him better for her. I think Charlie charmed her, like Lexi Link. We're gonna talk about that more. I agree with this comment. I do think she needs to stick with Liam. I think even beyond Hudson, I think Liam is more her speed. I really do. I actually see it. I can really picture it. I think with Hudson is because he's been in the picture forever. And to me, I kind of feel like in the same way, it's kind of her mama in her ear. I do, because Kim is like that. So I do. I think the part of that is Kim too. For some reason, I'm just gonna say it like that. Charlie goes where the money resides. He sure do. That's one thing about Charlie, y'all. He may not get him no 9 to 5, but he gonna find somebody with some money. That's what I say. I think Charlie would do good with men too, because Charlie gonna find a man with some money. I'm telling you, if he don't do nothing else. I agree with this comment 100%. I think he's trying to be relevant. You own the show, and if you just play your cards right, you actually could be relevant. If you're talking about Shy Lexi Lee, Georgia might be calculating off camera. Maybe. I don't know. I don't think so. I think Georgia really is just giddy and ridiculous. On the after show, they all said she is the one who let fame go to her head. I think they're picking at Georgia. I really do. I don't think Georgia let fame get to her head. I think that with her being on this show, she's probably more recognized and probably taken more opportunities that she probably would not have gotten had she not been on this show. I don't think, which is no different from the rest of them. I think that they're picking at her. I really do, because I don't see it now. Because we know what that looks like. We have seen plenty of Bravo celebrities on here let fame go to her head. I'm gonna give you an example. Heather Gay is one of them. Heather Gay, her first season on Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, she said problematic shit, but she was very humbled. It wasn't until season 3, season 4, where she started to smell her ass. So that's where I kind of feel like if Georgia did some shit like that, then I would agree with everybody. But I don't think that she really is letting this fame go to her head. I just don't think so. And if they're saying it, I believe it. Well, I mean, I think perception is everything. I don't see Georgia. Like, honestly, I think they have preconceived notions about Georgia and they're judging it based on that. I really do. Shy didn't do himself any favors. He used to hang with the girls, but now he running behind Ariana's back, screwed him. I think there's more to it than that. I think it's way more. I think it's more so like Hudson trying to say, if you're gonna be cool with me, you need to watch her every move and then report it back to me, if she steps out of bounds. I think that that's where, running behind Ariana screwed him, is that he was reporting to Hudson of her very own moves, which was stupid to do because she grown. She can do what she want to do. Is Brooks really running a business? Mrs. Best, answer this question, please. Because I'm not finna, Lexi Lynn, come on now. Come on now, girl. Come on now. Hudson just called Charlie and Mitch online, and Charlie basically said it to my face. Charlie and Hudson beefing online. I don't buy that shit. No, they probably are beefing, but at the end of the day, so Zaxby Prince, I should say, his daddy still living. Zaxby Prince, sit down. So, Miss Bess, you coming on?
Huh? I'm just here. I was away from the computer.
Oh, wow. No, I wanted you to answer this question.
You guys are funny. As I stated, his mama and daddy are. Who's buying his business doing? No, Lexi is funny. That's my answer.
Well, here, Lexi, I'll put it to you this way. Where is his collection now? in today's time? Because mind you, this was filmed last year. Where is it in today's time? Does he have a website? I will go on it on this channel right now if someone puts his website in the link on the page. Somebody put his website here so we can go on his website. The same way I did Sheree when she had She by Sheree. I went all up through her website. The same way I did Giselle and Ashley on Real Housewives Potomac. I went all through their website to see where their shit was. So somebody put his link in there. I'll go on his website. I promise you I will. So I challenge anybody in the chat to put his link up on his website and we will see what his business is doing. Moving on. So they're all leaving. Oh no, hold on, Gia. Sorry, Gia. I keep forgetting about Lil Gia. So Lil Gia and her boyfriend are in Caesar's Palace, and Gia's seeing people out there, and they want a picture with her. So they are, she's taking pictures with the people. She says she's been in the public eye since she was 8 years old. I said, damn, we old. But she's been in the public eye since she was 8 years old. This is normal for her. Her boyfriend, Christian, he really is not trying to be this. He wants to live a normal life, working his little 9 to 5 and coming home and just being with her. Gia said that life is really not that simple for her. This is all she really knows. And she doesn't want to have to give this up. She wished that he would just stand beside her and, compromise. Like, she understands why he would not. And she respects his choice if he decides not to take this journey of, having this new found fame. But the problem is, once again, it's something that she does not want to give up. Now, this is very compromising. And this is what I think they will last. But if they don't, I think it's because he's going to force her to choose either the private life or the celebrity life. I don't see Gia getting rid of being popular and being famous off of a TV network. I just don't see that. I see her very much so staying in the public eye. I do. I think she's going to be Teresa 2.0. That's my honest opinion. Mrs. Best, do you feel like Gia will give up her fame for her boyfriend?
No, and she shouldn't have to. I think Gia is smart, and I think that she understands the stupidity and foolery of Teresa, Melissa, Joe. I think she's learned from how she grew up and what she watched her parents do. She's done extremely well the entire time that she has had fame and relevancy. Like, without Next Gen, Gia Giudice would have been okay. She's been doing a lot. And she has to, separate from the fame, she's got her degree to fall back on if anything goes wrong. So I say let her do it. I think this is where the young-minded behavior comes in, because if you and this man have this conversation and he is annoyed because he's like, we keep having the same conversation, which after you have the same conversation so many times, you have to stop having that conversation and then have a conversation about breaking up or moving out or moving forward without each other, because he's right. She's not going to stop the fame and he doesn't want to have parts in it. And they're both valid in their feelings, but why are you staying together if that's the case? Obviously, he's got his own money and don't need hers, because she has this beautiful New York City apartment that he refuses to move into. And I just feel like, Gia, be smart. If someone is telling you they're not willing to compromise this part of their life and you're not willing to compromise a part of your life, then you don't have a relationship. You can call it that, but they don't have a relationship.
Yeah, and I agree. I think they have a relationship. I think it's compromised based on them wanting different things. And I think it does play a part in, their demise, like if they were to demise. But I agree with you. I think she could have both. I think that you just need to separate your relationship. Just look at it as like a job, and just when you come home, be all about Christian. I think you can necessarily have both of it, and I think that's up to him also to be able to accept this. Accept that, from this month to this month, she has to film this TV show. You don't have to have a part on it. She just would have to come up with a whole storyline on her own. It's very, very simple. It really, guys, it really is simple to live this life and keep a private life. I just think that people just don't know how to compartmentalize and keep the two separate. But very many Bravo people do a very good job of doing that. It's just, you got to be willing to understand and also tell yourself never to go out of bounds. It's hard to do, but it can be done. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna talk about. I skipped over Liam and Kendall's scene just because I don't. understand. They give very much a flirtatious couple that's looking for a third. I don't know why I feel that way, but I just do. And also, I had learned watching Color Me Pink. Shout out to Color Me Pink. I had learned that his friend Jackson is actually Spike Lee's son. I did not know that. So someone had dropped that nugget, and I was like, huh, interesting. Why is that Spike Lee's son on the show? I never knew that that was
Because
Spike
real
Lee.
money and real fame would never do anything like this.
He here as a friend of, he might as well.
It takes a, when your daddy is Spike Lee, I wouldn't want to do a show with a bunch of housewives, kids, and nobody's neither. Okay. I would have done my daddy's name carries more weight than all of your parents combined, with the exception of Ava's parents. Sorry, not sorry.
And probably Rowan's parents too, but uh,
We're past that era. Hannah Montana's over. People have moved on.
I hate about tennis over. But anyway, speaking of Rowan, she had this weird ass scene, but her trying to do a monologue. That shit was stupid. Y'all could have kept that. I like Rowan, don't get me wrong, but she's pointless on this show at this point. Because we just have a couple of weird scenes with her, and I'm just like, But speaking of Rowan, she meets up with Ava. Oh, hold on, I'm skipping the whole scene. Sorry, y'all. I'm looking at my notes. So they ride on a plane together back to New York. All of them were on this fight for whatever reason. So we learned that on the plane, Ariana, after sharing chapstick and all kind of shit with Charlie, decides to sit next to him, downgrades her seat from first class on this 6-hour flight, all for her to sit back there in economy with Charlie. And she kept putting her head down. She looked like she may have had an edible or something. She looked like allegedly. I'm gonna say allegedly. I'm not gonna try to say that's what she do. But she looked like she was doing something. And everyone's making a joke like, you just gonna cancel your first class ticket to sit in the back with Charlie? Or just sit there just in general. And it's like, all right, what are you doing? What is this? What are we supposed to do with this? Because I don't believe you're into Charlie at all. I think that you like being a tease. And if that's what you doing, I feel like this is why they need more men on the show then. Because if the only options are Shy and Charlie and Liam can't even be here because he wasn't on the show long enough, this is stupid. If you're gonna be a flirt and tease, pick somebody else. I almost rather you flirt with Brooks if this was the case. Like this was not a good look. Mrs. Best, how did you feel about Ariana canceling her seat in first class to be with Charlie? And what do you think? Why do you think her being a tease is fun right now for her?
Ariana?
Yeah.
I mean, the girl is what, 22, 23? She just broke up with a boy she's been dating since she was a kid. This is what 22 and 23-year-olds do. They date, they bounce around. If Ariana was on a show like Jersey Shore, Floribama Shore, X on the Beach, nobody would question it. I think she's doing what she should do for a girl her age. I don't see the problem with it. She could sleep with whoever she wants. She can hang out with whoever she wants. So, you know, let her be. Also, her mom is Kim Zolciak, okay? We have to remember Big Papa. We can't have high expectations. She didn't have the best example as it relates to relationships. But separate from that, she's 23 years old and she's single. She can sit on, and have fun. She could sit and spin on 3 different men in a day for all I care. She's single. Do you, boo?
True.
But
Very
Charlie, maybe use some Vagisil pH balance wash after him. That's all.
Oh shit! I did not expect that. I love that. Oh goodness, Andre Shannon, thank you for being here. I get Gia's points, so's Christian's points, but yeah, they both have valid points. But it's just a matter of they just need to understand that they could have what they're both asking each other for and keep their business life completely separate. They just have to learn that, and with age and time, they will learn that if this relationship is worth having. You know. Next thing said, I don't think G and her man will make it. I hope I'm wrong. I mean, they're young. They're young. Like, honestly, when you that age, like you sometimes should not put an expectation. I mean, it's great if it does happen. Like there's been situations, Mrs. Best and her husband, example, she was with them since she was a teenager and still with them today. So it does happen, but we can't always have that expectation because sometimes people come into your life for a reason in the season. They're there to teach you things. It could be that he's there to just teach her, the type of boundaries and limits and effort she needs to put in a relationship. Vice versa for him. Maybe dating somebody in the public eye may not be what he needs to do going forward in his next relationship, or this could be the best thing for him and her to maybe learn how to create balance. It's all life is realistically taking and getting and nurturing and making sure things are fruitful in a lot of different avenues for life for you. And I think that that's what you have to learn in those 20s. Sometimes it takes us to our 30s to learn that. I'm still learning that and I'm 36. So I think for me, I can, I hope they make it because they're a beautiful couple, but I'm not going to give that expectation because they're so young and life in 20s are really supposed to be about you. So I wouldn't be angry if they went parted ways, but then at the same time, I do hope they do make it. So, I hope they make it. So, like I said, moving on, we have Rowan. She meets up with Ava and Amira, and they're telling her, all about, Vegas and what they had to do, the award they won, and everything. And then we talk about Charlie. Charlie's name got mentioned so much this season. I see why he got first seat at the reunion because his name has just been thrown up and down these scenes in these episodes. But they talk about, Ariana. And I guess Rowan has saw the interview snippet of Ariana saying she wouldn't touch Charlie with a 10-foot pole. And they said, oh, that pole is, getting lower and smaller because she sure is, entertaining the idea. Entertaining just the idea of what could be going on. And at the same time, we see Charlie and Shy at a bar. And they're talking about the flirtation as well and how it's getting around to the group, because Gia pretty much is having this Friendsgiving. And she tells them at the table when they were in Vegas. So she's putting everything together and trying to put a menu. And everyone's talking about bringing peas and carrots and butternut squash soup. And I said, I get it. Everybody Thanksgiving is different. But commercially, Thanksgiving, we supposed to have, turkey, some mashed potatoes and gravy. I'm a dressing person, but I know a lot of people can do stuffing too. It depends on how, I can take either or. We're supposed to have some candy yams, maybe green beans or collard greens, something like that. Or am I just doing the soul food version? Y'all let me know what y'all do for Thanksgiving. Mrs. Best, am I just doing the soul food version? Or did what she have on the menu sound appetizing to you?
I'm confused on what menu you're talking about. Maybe I missed this part of the show.
You sure did because they were talking about Gia's
Oh, the
Friendsgiving.
Friendsgiving. They set the plates they would bring, but I don't think any of these people are gonna cook. Riley didn't know how to make fucking ice.
No, I was just given by, when I think of anything with giving in it, I was saying I think of turkey. I was naming all the food items that I know about. I just never heard of no butternut squash and some peas and carrots and shit.
Oh no, those are Thanksgiving foods.
Is it?
Yes. So I went to private school for much of elementary school because I went to school in Deep East Oakland and the private school was the better option. So I went to school. I'm just going to keep it a buck with y'all. I went to school with a lot of kids who were white and Jewish and Mormon in the Bay Area. James will tell y'all that those are the kids that, their parents are financially okay, but I learned actually through that squash is like a common seasonal food for Thanksgiving. I had no clue because y'all have to understand I'm black as hell. When I make butternut squash, I will chop it into the little cubes and I will get the items to help it taste sweet and buttery and delicious. But we're not having it for Thanksgiving or nothing. It might just be because squash was on sale at the grocery store. That's what Safeway had as the deal of the week. That's what don't laugh at me, James. That's how we do squash. That I did learn growing up in private school. And I also grew up Muslim, so we did not celebrate Christmas or Thanksgiving. I would only get to do it if I went to a friend's house, no matter the friend, whether they was in Montclair or Durant Square. Okay. They loved them some squash. I learned the colorless loved them some sort of casserole. of canned items mixed together, and peas and carrots are like all the rage. Okay, so I said, oh, so I learned that. And I've had coworkers bring squash and things for coworker giving, which they like to do if you work in San Francisco. And let's just say it's been dreadful.
I learn something new every day. I wouldn't know nothing about that, y'all. So listen,
That's
this is why I
because
have
your
Mrs.
granny cooking gumbo and James is waiting on the biggest scoop with the biggest crab claw up in there. Okay. Miss Scarlett is probably somewhere yelling at somebody, taking a sip of her liquor and making sure the macaroni and cheese is seasoned right. And your brother somewhere with his blunt being rolled up. Did I get it right? That's just that's probably what you're used to.
Oh, Lord, she ain't lying, but it's just that's funny as hell. I'm sorry.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Does
I
this
should bring you with me on
eat?
Thanksgiving. I should try and see
Maybe
it.
I'm gonna try. Honestly, I'm gonna start practicing because I don't think I'm going home this Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna start practicing. I'm gonna make my stuff,
You're
and then
not?
I don't think so. No, I don't think so.
Maybe I'll come to you.
I don't think so because I need to be working. So yeah. So
I
yeah,
might
no.
come and cook. I'm so serious. I'm not just saying it a lot.
Come
I'm gonna
on,
text you after this.
come on. Anyways, getting back to the Friendsgiving. So in this conversation of who's bringing what, we're showing who's in the group chat. And what we understand is that Liam got added to the group chat. Charlie got added back to the group chat after being gone from it. So as Gia is preparing the menu of who's bringing what, she somehow grouped Ariana and Liam together, which causes a whole lot of dissension in the group chat because now Hudson is texting Ariana asking, is she dating Liam? And of course, she's like, oh, Gia, why would you do this? And Gia's like, oh, I didn't even think about it. Like, I didn't even know, I just put it in there, just kind of a general sense. Now, I do think it was innocent. I do, because we're not thinking about Hudson. We're not even remembering. Hudson barely is here. So I do think it was slightly innocent with a little bit of shade, but it wasn't enough for Hudson to be texting talking about you dating Liam. So when he calls Shy and Charlie at the bar, he goes, what's up with this whole Liam and Ariana being grouped together at the Friendsgiving? Like, I thought I made it very clear to Liam, like, there's boundaries here. You're not supposed to be talking to her. I said, wait a fucking minute. First of all, that ain't your friend. Let's start there. Second of all, Ariana is grown. This man is grown. You have no power. And see, that's what we mean when you have these, rich kids who literally come from all kinds of money, literally billionaire kids, thinking that they have a lot of entitlement. You don't have entitlement to people's hearts, souls, and minds. You have entitlement to what you can control, monetary things. Let's make that very, very clear. Yes, you can make a lot of power moves and you can make a lot of things happen, not happen, phone call to the feds, whatever it could be. But you can't control if this woman meets this man that you don't even know and she decides to date him. You don't have no control over that. So Hudson in the phone call says that, out of all people, I thought it'd be you, Charlie. And I said, what? Huh? Yeah, Hudson is strange. Hudson is very strange. I'm going to tell you why. Because how you entertaining this dude who really is, trying to make sure you invest in his dream. How are you this aloof to this man being in your face, he and I ain't doing the bro code thing, but you think he gonna mac on Ariana? What are you trying to, what correlation, what are you trying to do exactly, Hudson? Because it didn't make sense to me. Because why would you think, even though he's not wrong, which means he probably got it from somebody else on the cast. And that's probably why this conversation, he's probably inching Charlie to confess right then and there, but Charlie's not going to do that. Charlie's not going to do that. Charlie's not going to tell you, oh, yeah, I was trying to hit on Ariana, the whole thing, because he needs you right now. He needs you to be the backup to his backup with Omar up there. So he's not going to do that. But it was just weird. It was like, okay, well, if you know Hudson that he was trying to flirt, why don't you just say it? Like, in addition to Liam, Charlie, I heard you was trying to mac. Like, why not just say that? Because to me, it was given. And Mrs. Best chime in because I might be wrong, But did it feel like he already knew that Charlie was flirting with Ariana in Vegas? Because it seemed like he just to call
This
that
is
out was
last
strange.
season. Charlie made comments about wanting Ariana, and I think that stuck with Hudson. I don't think Hudson's as stupid as Charlie hoped he was. I think he knows that Charlie's hanging out with him because of what he can gain. But I think Hudson's okay with it because it's the only thing connecting and keeping him close to the cast and Ariana, especially knowing they got back together. So I think Hudson's just one of them guys who expects that. My husband's kind of like that also. So I don't know. I feel like he's aware.
He could be. He could be. But the problem that I have is that it was just weird, just called out. So they then montage it to thinking that something could have potentially happened more with Charlie and Ariana. And he's saying that, it wasn't anything that's happened. It was just flirtation. That's all that it was. There was nothing more. But I don't want to say anything to make it look like there was more that could have happened, which was really weird. Either, this is not rocket science. I don't understand why y'all have to do poison confusion. Either something happened or it didn't. Either y'all kissed or y'all did not. Either y'all fucked or you did not. It is not this. There is no middle ground here when it comes to that. You either did the shit or you didn't. Very simple. Very black and white. So I don't know. This is, as I said, this is really weird. Do I think anything happened between Charlie and Ariana at this point? No. Now, next episode may change my mind. But as far as now, I don't think anything happened. I think she was just being a tease. Point blank in the period. And that was pretty much the episode, y'all. There was nothing really more. I'm not talking about Brooks and his business because then nobody bring his link up to me, So if y'all want to be funny, you can put it in my comments. Put his link to his business so I can see, because I will pull it up here next week and show y'all what's on his thing. Just same way I did Giselle Nash, the same way I did Sheree when she had her shit. I will put that shit up here and we will go through it together and see what his prices are looking like. What did he launch? That's it. That's all. Mrs. Besser, anything else you want to talk about?
No, you're doing the Lord's work.
Oh, thank you, friend. I appreciate that. Hallelujah. Amen. All right, y'all. Well, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and end the live now. I appreciate everybody being here once again. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed to me. Shout out to my replay gang. Shout out to the people who were here and did not, maybe not want to comment. I see you as well. We appreciate you being here too. And I will see you guys on my next live. Have a good one, y'all. Good night now.